I see my task as part of the discussion to summarize what has happened, and let's try to be brief. You can see, and you have already heard, that I'm German originally. My German is not as bad as this Coast Guard that we have just met in your video, but you can still feel my German accent. I brought 6 remarks, and I try to base each remark on a passage of Laudato Si, to have Pope Francis again in the room. And I will start with the first one. I think it's most obvious, the very strong connection between first sustainable development and education. I think it's a truism in this room, it's so clear. And I just want to remind you of a passage in Laudato Si, number 209, where Pope Francis says, we are faced with an educational challenge. So it's not only a technological, economic challenge, but an educational one. This brings me to my second point already. Maybe sustainable development not at all is primarily a technological challenge. Again, I would like to quote the Pope, number 111. Ecological culture cannot be reduced to a series of urgent and partial responses to the immediate problems of pollution, environment, decay, and the depletion of natural resources. There needs to be a distinctive way of looking at things, a way of thinking, policies, and again, an educational program. Just to give you an example from the context where I'm coming from Germany, I think we have wonderful technologies at hand. For example, wonderful electronic cars in Germany. They are also available, not too expensive anymore, but people are not buying them. They are not fashionable. People are not using them. So it cannot be only a problem of technology, but it has to be in our mindset. Third aspect, what's the goal of sustainable development? Of course, now we try to promote it by saying, yeah, it is also very interesting when it comes to economy, but let's not forget that the main goal of, I would say, sustainability is to include the excluded. And we have heard about wonderful projects from you where you reach out to people who collect garbage, where you try to improve kitchen systems and all that. And these are the people we try to address by sustainable development. That's our main goal. And again, I would like to quote the Pope, number 49 in his encyclical. It needs to be said that generally speaking, there is little in the way of clear awareness of problems which especially affect the excluded. And then he blames people like me, for example, who sit in the ivory tower of universities and have no real contact, direct contact to the poor. So I think that's true for most of us. Number 4, which I would like to raise, and it's not only attention to the excluded, to the poor, but also I would like to stress the attention to the local cultures. Let's appreciate what's already there in the local cultures. Again, Pope Francis, number 143. Ecology then also involves protecting the cultural treasures of humanities in the broadest sense. More specifically, it calls for greater attention to local cultures when studying environmental problems, favoring a dialogue between scientific technical language and the language of the people. I think we always have to struggle to find a language for the people and of the people. That was my 4th point. 5th, what I also found very connecting in all of your speeches, what's driving us? What is our motivation? Pope Francis would call it probably what's our spirituality behind all our efforts. And that's, of course, the deeper source of our commitment. And if you want to see it clearly, it has been mentioned already before, but you can read it again in number 216. More than ideas or concepts as such, I'm interested in how such spirituality can motivate us to a more passionate concern for the protection of our world. So if you want to fight for sustainable development, you'll need a long breath. And this spirituality, this breath, this patience, even stubbornness is, I think, something we should also always take into account. My last and 6th point, and of course it will be an optimistic outlook. Change is possible. Yes, we can. Who said it of you? It's possible. We saw very good examples, I think, in all of your presentations. And things can change. That's also what the Pope reminds us of in number 13. We know that things can change. Yes, we can. Thank you very much.